Laying on our backs, we stirred the stars with our feet, and we finally laughed in the face of our own awesome power. And that's when I realized just how far they are, those distant stars. That moment, there was such relief in letting go of the flood I'd been holding back all summer. The flood that was pounding at my door and scraping the windows, threatening its way into my body. I spent that summer with my little blue finger stuck in a dam. Little blue me, exhausted from bracing myself against the weight of the world and all its crushing inertia. That summer, 62,000 barrels of oil were pouring into the Gulf of Mexico each day. Numbers so unfathomable they're hard to even say, so hard to keep up with once they're on their way. That summer, there were kids seated in the streets of Toronto, peacefully singing our national anthem, with their hearts on their sleeves and all the bright-eyed hope for a better world in their mouths. With face paint like war paint and cardboard signs like poetry, these peaceful protesters were beaten back by riot police. With their masks and phallic black batons, my country had never shown me such outright oppression. It was such a brutal lesson. I couldn't help but wonder when our values got so misplaced, because that peaceful kid's hopes for a better world earned her pepper spray to the face. All on a sunny summer day, it's so hard to keep up with this flood once it's on its way. And it sounds like a goddamn cliche, but all the while, rainforests were burning, ocean ice was melting, species were disappearing, and the suffering of unknown millions who sweat and bleed and hurt and shit and cry and die. All the while, the cleverest monkeys on top were getting fat off the hopeful flesh of the rest. That summer was so steeped in sorrow. Everything tinted a greasy brown, my feathers matted down. My clenched heart held all this knowledge like a fist, like a muzzle, as black and shiny as a police baton, as black and crude as oil slicks on beaches. You see, we all find different ways of coping in the face of such profound inertia. We're all students, learning how to hold back a flood of this magnitude. That summer, I found my way home to the familiar night forest, and in the grass, giggling with my feet against a backdrop of light years, I realized the stars are eternal. They're more ancient and stubborn than waves. We can't fuck up the stars. No matter what this tribe of clever pink monkeys gets up to, the tide will always be there, as reliable as the moon. We can't fuck up the moon. At least I'm sure we haven't quite figured it out yet. It feels like these wheels we have set in motion have finally gained sentience, hell-bent on our own destruction. I finally let go of the idea of our survival. This human experiment cannot last, and instead of sad, I felt profound relief. Those tides that relentlessly retreat and ever so eagerly wave hello again. My pathetic fallacy, so human in its need to diminish nature. This gravitational dance of celestial bodies and bodies of water is ancient and so much bigger than 7 billion cunning mammals. There will always be waves and distant stars to reflect back at themselves. I can't tell you how much comfort I took in this realization. That summer of my navel-gazing existential defeat, that summer of my thorough retreat. You see, there's this hard kernel of death just under the skin of every good party. We run in circles, chasing enlightenment, or is it oblivion? The snake that forever digests its own tail, the Orobourus of illumination and obliteration. So we push the boundaries, we crawl on hands and knees, and we stand with our toes pressed to the edge, and we peer over that cliff. And we don't just make eye contact, no, we challenge the vast emptiness below to a staring contest. Remember that night his body became an unbearable lake? Couldn't really tell if he was coming or going, which way his river was flowing. His body of water stretched out on the floor before the fire. He panicked as the edges of his personhood became blurred and wet. I languished on his shore and skipped stones. And together we harmonized ghost songs, built a bowl of sound to contain his new liquid body. Such a physical penance for our eager explorations. But that night, our lungs became one, and we sublimated to a heavy gas that reformed as a single beating heart chamber, a room full of light where we were nothing. We were nothing. And my exhalations became your inhalations, became mine again. And then holding hands, we swam back to the surface, amid oily black bubbles and faded phosphorescence. Breaking the surface tension, we blinked our blind newborn eyes and we saw the stars for the first time.